Are you saying that Philippines is the reason why my laptop works? It's huge!
One of the countries that has been playing a huge role in this space is the Philippines. The Philippines' role in the semiconductor industry are assembly, testing, and packaging.
What? I believe that this is a way how some countries avoid being taxed if the assembly happens in the Philippines. Let's do this! What's up, Philippines? Welcome back! Welcome! Today we're going to dive into economy of the Philippines. Very interesting topic though. There's like so much happening in terms of companies investing in the Philippines, and this could be actually a very huge breakthrough for the Philippines. I believe. I don't know what this video is specifically about, but the title says how the Philippines became a powerhouse in semiconductor assembly. And you would think, okay, thinking of assembly might be China, but you wouldn't think of the Philippines, so I don't know. Let's find out.
Semiconductors have recently become the most important products in recent years.
Very true.
The small chip has sparked technological wars from one company to another and has been at the center of the China-US trade war. One of the countries that has been playing a huge role in this space is the Philippines. The country is indeed, surprisingly, one of the world's most important players in the entire semiconductor supply chain.
What?
Yet, most people, and even Filipinos, don't know this. They continuously see the Philippines still a developing nation. But that story is decades old. The Philippines' role in the semiconductor industry are assembly, testing, and packaging, ATP. Although ATP is a lower value work and is far from chip fabrication, which is done in countries like Taiwan and South Korea, it is still a key component of the entire supply chain. After semiconductors are designed and fabricated, they go through ATP processes, where they are assembled into their final form, tested for functionality, and packaged for delivery. These processes are critical for ensuring that semiconductors are ready for use in a wide array of products, and the Philippines has become a key destination.
Okay, hold on. Knowing there's like certain taxes for imports, especially in the US, I believe that this is a way how some countries avoid being taxed if the assembly happens in the Philippines. Could be.
A large portion of this ATP work
Because that's
is done in the Philippines'
US.
export processing zones, PEZA, such as those in Laguna, Cavite, and Batangas. Major global semiconductor companies like Texas Instruments, Amkor Technology, and onsemi have established ATP facilities in the Philippines, attracted by the country's cost-effective labor and its growing expertise in this domain. In fact, Texas Instruments facility in Baguio is one of the company's largest sites outside the US.
Oh!
This site alone accounts for a significant portion of Texas Instruments' global ATP operations. It's an example of how the Philippines has become an integral part of the semiconductor ecosystem. But how did this all begin? How did the Philippines become an integral part of the entire semiconductor supply chain? Well, let's go back in history and find out. The origins of the semiconductor industry in the Philippines can be traced back to the 1960s, when the country was exploring various avenues for industrial growth. This period coincided with the rise of export processing zones, EPZs, in Southeast Asia, as governments sought to attract foreign investment and boost export-driven growth. The Philippines was no exception, establishing the Bataan Export Processing Zone, BEPZ, in 1969, the first of its kind in the country. Multinational corporations, particularly those from the United States and Japan, began to take notice. These companies sought locations where they could assemble electronic components at lower costs while maintaining access to a skilled yet relatively inexpensive workforce. As a result, companies like
I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's also a car assembly or car chip. I'm not sure if it's the chip, but it's something for cars assembled in Baguio for, I think, BMW or some German car brand.
Intel and Texas Instruments set up operations in the BEPZ during the 1970s. marking the beginning of the semiconductor industry in the Philippines. Texas Instruments, T1, was a key player in the Philippine economy even to this very day. It began in the Philippines in 1979.
Oh, I just saw it. The logo is Texas. Cute.
At the time, TI's investment was seen as a vote of confidence in the Philippines' potential as a manufacturing hub, primarily due to the availability of an English-speaking workforce and cost-effective labor.
Yeah, which is very convenient.
TI's Baguio facility quickly became one of its largest manufacturing sites outside of the United States. It focused on the assembly and testing of semiconductors, including products used in automotive, industrial, and consumer electronics. The facility's scale and capabilities
they do more than
made it a critical part
calculators.
of Texas Instruments' global operations, enabling the Philippines to secure a reputation as a reliable partner for semiconductor ATP services. Intel, too, was one of the most important players. It opened its own major assembly
Yeah, I saw Intel, an IBM in BGC.
In 1974.
Cavite.
Like Texas Instruments, Intel chose the Philippines
That's like
for
a long
its
time ago.
competitive labor costs, strategic geographic location, and English-speaking workforce. Intel's Cavite facility became a key
Good job,
part of the
Philippines.
company's global operations, producing a significant portion of its microprocessors and other semiconductor components. Intel's presence in the Philippines had a far-reaching impact, boosting the country's reputation as a reliable partner for high-volume semiconductor manufacturing. Intel invested heavily in infrastructure.
Wait, hold on. Are you saying that Philippines is the reason why my laptop works? Like, literally being assembled there. It's huge. That's huge. Like, since the 70s?
Intel invested heavily in infrastructure and worker training, helping to modernize the country's manufacturing capabilities. The company's operations also had a significant economic impact on the region, creating thousands of jobs and contributing to the local economy. However, in the mid-2000s, as global manufacturing dynamics shifted, Intel eventually closed its Philippine facility in 2009 as part of a broader restructuring. While the closure was a setback, the experience and skills that Intel imparted to the local workforce continued to benefit the semiconductor industry. Many former Intel employees went on to work for other semiconductor companies in the Philippines, spreading the expertise they had gained during their time at Intel. By the 1980s, these two companies had helped grow the Philippine semiconductor industry. As electronics manufacturing became more specialized, global demand for semiconductors surged. The Philippines capitalized on this trend by positioning itself as a reliable hub for the assembly and testing of semiconductors. This has then brought in new foreign investors, such as Amkor Technology and ON Semiconductor.
Okay, this topic is very dry,
to establish facilities in the country,
but super
drawn by the
important
promise of low labor costs, tax incentives, and proximity to emerging markets in Asia.
And I'm learning
Amkor
so
Technology,
much. Like,
leading provider of semiconductor ATP services, opened up doors in the Philippines in the 1980s, establishing facilities in Muntinlupa City and later expanding to other regions. Amkor played a significant role in advancing the local semiconductor supply chain by introducing cutting-edge ATP technologies and processes. These innovations included advanced packaging techniques such as ball grid array BGA packaging, which became critical for smaller, more powerful chips. ON Semiconductors, on the other hand now known as onsemi, expanded its operations in the Philippines by acquiring the semiconductor business of Motorola in 1999. This acquisition included the assembly and testing facility in Carmona, Cavite. Over the years, onsemi has invested significantly in upgrading the facility, making it a key part of its global supply chain.
Like making it
the company's operations in the Philippines focus on products used in automotive, industrial, and power management applications. Although the growth of the Philippine industry in the 1980s was dominated by foreign investors, there were also local players. One notable example is Integrated Microelectronics, INSE, IMI, a subsidiary of Ayala Corporation.
Oh, I didn't
Founded
know.
in
It's
1980, IMI has grown to become one of the leading providers of electronics manufacturing services and semiconductor assembly
Ayala
in the
family
Philippines.
is
IMI
everywhere.
specializes in producing automotive electronics, industrial electronics, and power semiconductor devices, and it has expanded its reach globally with facilities in various countries. As a homegrown company, IMI has been instrumental in building local expertise in semiconductor assembly and providing high-value services to multinational clients.
Wow.
The company's ability to meet global standards has positioned it as a reliable partner for semiconductor firms seeking quality manufacturing services in the Philippines. Now, during this period, the semiconductor sector began to dominate Philippine exports. Electronics and semiconductors became critical export products, contributing to the country's foreign exchange earnings and creating thousands
Quite
of
interesting,
jobs.
though.
The assembly and testing work that the Philippines specialized in were labor-intensive but required technical skills, making the Philippines an attractive location for these operations.
Very attractive.
The
They got
establishment of
skills.
more EPZs in places like Laguna, Cavite, and Cebu helped further solidify the country's reputation as a semiconductor hub. Unfortunately, by the 1990s, the semiconductor industry faced new challenges and opportunities. The global semiconductor market was becoming more competitive, with countries like
that's
China,
why I
Malaysia,
mentioned
and
it.
Thailand also making significant investments in electronics manufacturing.
Interesting.
This increased regional competition pushed the Philippines to improve its infrastructure, workforce skills, and overall ease of doing business to retain
English is
foreign
better, though, in the
investors.
Philippines, so...
The government responded by creating the Philippine Economic Zone Authority, PEZA, in 1995, which streamlined the processes for setting up export-oriented businesses and provided a more attractive investment environment. PEZA's efforts were instrumental in retaining existing semiconductor players and attracting new ones, such as Maxim Integrated and Analog Devices. Despite these efforts, the Philippine
know this.
semiconductor
This is
industry
really
remained largely focused on the assembly, testing and packaging stages of semiconductor production. The country struggled to break into more advanced areas like chip design and wafer fabrication, which were dominated by countries with more robust research and development, R&D, ecosystems like Taiwan and South Korea. Nevertheless, the Philippines maintained its status as a crucial player in the ATP segment of the global semiconductor supply chain. And
Good
today,
job.
the semiconductor industry is massive. According to the Semiconductor and Electronics Industries in the Philippines Foundation, INC-EADS, CIP, electronics and semiconductors accounted for approximately 62% of the country's total exports as of 2022, with semiconductor products alone representing a significant portion of this figure to billions of dollars in export revenue each year. It directly employs around 3.2 million workers, including engineers, technicians, and production line workers. Even the US, which has long been a key partner in the development of the Philippine semiconductor industry, recognized the Philippines as a critical player in the global semiconductor value chain. But anyway, do let us know what you think. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, Behind Asia has always super interesting videos and so insightful. I mean, I had no idea that Philippines plays such a huge role in like me being able to use my phone, me being able to use my laptop, driving my car, whatever. Knowing that like how much impact it actually has and how much companies are investing, they are there to stay. So good for the Philippines, I guess. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think about it. I know this was a little bit of a dry topic today, but in my opinion, it's always good to know those things. Being part of conversations, I've been in a lot of interesting conversations about the Philippines, and this was definitely a surprising fact that I learned today. If you learned something new today as well, consider subscribing. Or if you like something a little bit more fun, I have very joyful content as well. And definitely hit the notification bell if you want to be notified for the next video. If you're more into travel, please check out my channel, Nelly's Life. And that was it for today. I'll see you guys next time here on What's Up Philippines. Bye-bye.